Hello, Al pals. This is Big Al. Welcome to Big Al Presents my thoughts on Morbius, the 2022 film based on Morbius, the living vampire, the Marvel character, starring Jared Leto. Before I go any further, though, spoiler warnings. If you don't want to know anything about the movie, you might want to turn back now, go see the film, and come back later and see if you agree with what I thought. But I've already had a chance to watch it and wanted to share my thoughts. So, that being said, Morbius. Dr. Morbius, of course, as I said, played by Jared Leto, is a scientist suffering from a rare blood disease ever since he was a child. And of course, now he is a brilliant scientist playing around with human DNA and mixing it with killer vampire bats. What could go wrong? Well, of course, what goes wrong is that he turns himself into a kind of a vampire. So he has a bloodlust that comes upon him every 6 hours, but it can be sated by taking another invention of his, which is synthetic blood, but that starts to lose its effectiveness over time, and the time span between his hunger gets smaller and smaller. I will say Jared Leto makes a better Morbius than he does a Joker. I know too many, that's not saying a lot, but he's not bad in the film. He is just kind of very broody, which seems to be what he does. I mean, I will say he's a better broody actor than the Batman guy, but uh, Morbius was not the only one that had this blood disease. He grew up with a surrogate brother named Milo, whose original name was Lucian for some reason. I don't know why they did that. But Milo Morbius finds out about this cure and decides vampire after effects be darned. I'm going to do it anyway because I'm tired of the pain and I don't want to die. So what's sucking the blood from people compared to me being okay? I guess, if you're going to be a villain, you might as well go all the way. Milo is played by Matt Smith of Doctor Who fame. And being a Doctor Who fan, it was kind of interesting to see someone of such a quirky and wacky nature as his doctor was, to see him become someone so villainous, someone so willing to take a life in order to preserve his own. And I will say, Matt Smith is probably the best part of this film as far as the cast is concerned. Jared Leto was okay, but I think Matt Smith actually brought a little something extra to his character, bringing it just that little extra that the script did not bring it. And I will say that is the weakest aspect of this film is the script. It's just kind of very simplistic, straightforward, no twists, no surprises, pretty straightforward. It's a vampire movie with no teeth. And I know that's kind of, you know, punny, but that's basically what this film was. It just kind of happened. There are no real surprises, no real moments of great tension. You don't really know the characters enough to give a darn about them as much. They just kind of are. it played as a very bad horror film than it did a Marvel superhero film. Now, I will say though, the effects of the film were pretty good, and probably along with Matt Smith, the best part of the film. There is some great horror imagery, some great vampiric effects, both in the characters' physicality and in their motion and how they saw and interacted with the world. But I think it would have been served better with a much better story and characters that we actually came to care about. They did not give the characters any emotional uh, anchor in order to really, for the audience to really give a damn. It's like they took the character of Morbius and said, hey, here's a character we haven't done yet, threw a generic script outline at it and threw the actors on screen. There's just not a lot there. I think most of the cast is wasted. Adria Arjona plays Martine Bancroft, uh, Morbius's, Michael Morbius's girlfriend and scientific uh, partner. Uh, Jared Harris, who played Dr. Emil Nicholas, who was a mentor and father figure to Michael, and Milo, who is Richard Harris's son, who I've actually seen in some other roles, and he's a great actor. He just kind of walks in on screen. What are you boys doing? I really hope you're okay. Uh, uh, okay. It just nothing worked. And Tyrese Gibson playing the FBI agent Simon Stroud, nothing. There just was nothing for him to do except try to hunt down the vampire. It was just very one-dimensional role. Him with his uh, partner Al Madrigal, they were just on screen. There was just, can you tell I was kind of bored watching this film? Yeah, it was. It's just a very boring film with no interesting storyline, but it looks good. And I really went back and forth. I was in the 1.5 range, but then I really took a look again at Matt Smith and some of the effects and the effects that showed the vampire effects on Morbius. Bumped it up to 2 stars. Sue me. This is my opinion. I mean, the story is a 1-star story at best. Matt Smith kind of bumps it up to a half, and then the effects, I'll give it another half. So 2 stars total, and barely 2 stars. Uh, I never need to see this film again. I will say, and this is a spoiler, in the after credits, they bring in Adrian Toomes from the Spider-Man movie, of course, played by Michael Keaton, for no darn good obvious reason. I mean, they allude to the Spider-Man universe. I think it's a waste of Michael Keaton, not to mention the Adrian Toomes character. This was the wrong movie to bank on his after credit scene, and I really don't think this film's going to have any legs. I don't see it being that big of a hit once it hits DVD, Blu-ray, and streaming. It's it's a pass. Now if I'm telling you about this, it's it really didn't hit me too well. But barely 2 stars. Morbius, it happened, and it doesn't need to happen for me again. I hope you did enjoy this review, as short and blasé as it might have been. Of course, I hope you subscribe to my channel, Big Al Presents. More reviews, rewatches, and rambles in the weeks and months to come. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with other people who have seen Morbius or who are contemplating seeing Morbius and maybe need to be warned off a little bit. But as I always like to say, whatever you do choose to watch, even if you do go to see Morbius, I hope you enjoy it. I really do. I didn't enjoy it as nearly as much as I wanted to, or as I'm sure the makers of the film would have wished. It had some good visuals. Not like Matt Smith, but I really can't give it much more than that. Until the next time, my Al pals, take care and goodbye.